What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we're going to do a stimulus package, stimulus check update today. And I didn't want to do a video yesterday. Yesterday was the inauguration. And I wanted to watch everything and just kind of sit back and just enjoy the transition. And I'm really kind of a nerd when it comes to politics. And I like the ceremony. I like watching the transition. And so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to put a video out, and I'll just wait until the morning, and then I'll put a video out. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to talk a little bit about the stimulus package, and we're going to listen to Simone Sanders. She is a senior advisor to the vice president, and she is going to talk a little bit about how she thinks this is going to go when it comes to this $1.9 trillion stimulus package. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. All right, so before I show you this clip, I do want to talk about something a little bit different. And I kind of hinted to this last week. So I posted a video last week, how to start a YouTube channel. And I do plan to start doing more content that's centered around financial freedom and starting a side hustle. Putting yourself in a situation where you might have a full-time job or you might be on a fixed income, but having something else where you're making money. Because if that full-time job doesn't come through, let's say you're in a situation where you lose that job or they cut your hours, which happened to a lot of people last year. Well, now you have something else that you're making money doing. And so you have a different skill that you're doing, and it allows you to keep going and keep paying your bills. And so I want to focus on that. The financial freedom thing, I really want to focus on. And I'm not, here to tell you this is how to make $1 million and all that kind of stuff. But I do want people to get to a point where they're financially free. And this happened for me. It happened for me last year. I was able to get financially free, debt free. And it's one of those situations where I want to share that information with you because I think it's very valuable and it changes the way you do things. And so we're going to be doing more videos. I'm putting a video out this morning. Later on today, around noon Pacific Coast time, I'm going to start doing a series of videos that talks about financial freedom. Upgrading your life is what you're going to be hearing a lot of, because I think it's important for us to focus on that. I know there are a lot of people struggling out there. I know there are a lot of people watching this video right now that are struggling. And one of the things that I can do to help is to provide information on how I was able to get financially free. And maybe you can take some of that in, and maybe that can help you in the future. Because we saw the struggles when it came to government all last year, as far as the pandemic and how that was handled, and the stimulus packages and how they were handled, and going from $1,200 stimulus check to $600 stimulus check. And I mean, all the stuff that was going on. It was one of those things where you kind of looked at your government and you said, wow, okay, I pay taxes. I happily pay taxes, but is this it? This is what I'm paying for. And I know there are a lot of people that were not satisfied with how the government handled everything last year. And so some people did okay. Some people did better than okay last year. And we know that. Just look at Wall Street. We know. We saw the stocks. We saw how they continued to rise, even during a pandemic. And so that's what we're going to start talking about. I will have a series of videos. I'm still going to do the stimulus check videos. Okay. We're going to follow this all the way out. We have a third stimulus check that will hopefully soon be voted on, and we're going to follow that. But I also want you guys to start thinking more about, what else can I do? Is there another job that I can do? Maybe we'll do it from home, or maybe do DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that to make a little extra income. Is that possible? And so that's what we're going to talk about as well. All right, so I've talked enough about that, but I do want to, I just want you guys to understand, look, Stimulus checks are good. It's good to talk about stimulus checks, but we also need to talk about some other things that can really help you out. You know, the best way to explain this is people talk about the reoccurring payments. $2,000 reoccurring payment. That would be nice. What would really be nice is if you didn't have to rely on that $2,000 reoccurring payment because you created your own $2,000 reoccurring payment. You've created a side hustle where you're making $2,000 a month indefinitely. And so that's what I want to focus on as well. So not just the stimulus checks, but let's also focus on how can you create your own reoccurring payments. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and get to Simone Sanders here talking about the next stimulus package. Here we go.
Is to welcome back to the broadcast tonight Simone Sanders, a veteran of the Biden-Harris campaign. She is now a senior advisor and chief spokesperson for the new Vice President, Kamala Harris, and she has saved us for her first interview since the inauguration. Simone, two questions. Number one, did you have time to put anything in your new office? Did you have time to find your new office? And number two, on serious matters, do you think the job description for the vice president will mirror the experience Joe Biden had alongside Barack Obama for 8 years?
Thank you so much tonight for having me, Brian. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. And I did find my office. I did not put anything in there. I'll start working on that tomorrow. You know, I was listening to the panel that you all had prior to my interview, and I was smiling as I heard Susan Page speaking. The reality is that the relationship that the president and the vice president have is a strong governing partnership. It is rooted in friendship. It is rooted in respect. The vice president is committed to supporting the legislative efforts of this administration, of the president, amplifying them and getting to work on the issues most pressing and important to the American people. So if past is any prologue, Brian, I can tell you that the governing partnership between the two of them is strong. And there's a lot of work to do, as you all laid out. And we did not hesitate today to get to that work. The last thing I'll note is right after the celebratory inaugural activities, the president and the vice president, they went to work. The president signed a number of executive orders, and the vice president went to the United States Senate to swear in 3 new United States senators.
We indeed saw that on live television. Simone, because Joe Biden is a creature of the Senate, a veteran of the Senate, because Vice President Harris just came from the United States Senate, though during her first term, I suppose she is going to be put to work twisting arms because the administration needs and wants nothing less than $1.9 trillion in a relief package.
Now, this is an interesting question. So basically what he's saying is Joe Biden has been a senator. Kamala Harris has been a senator. Do you think they will have a little bit more when it comes to being able to negotiate with the other side, with the Republicans, to move forward with the stimulus package? So it's kind of an interesting take now that you have these people who have history in the Senate. They know how things work in the Senate. They've worked with a lot of these people in the Senate. Do you think that they'll be able to influence these senators to go along with the stimulus package? So very, very interesting take on it. Let's see what she says.
Well, Brian, as you heard the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki say earlier today, this is an important package, so important that this is the key piece of legislation that the president and the vice president laid out prior to their inauguration just last week. And I'll tell you, we believe that the American Rescue Plan and a number of the legislative priorities that the Congress has coming before them are issues that are bipartisan, are issues that are important to a wide swath of the American people. Look, as the vice president often says, the coronavirus does not care if you are a Democrat or a Republican. As the president said earlier today, yes, he ran as a Democrat, but he will govern as an American president. That is going to require consensus. So while the vice president, yes, in this historic role with a 50-50 Senate will serve as a tiebreaker, it is our hope, frankly, that she won't have to break many ties, because we believe that there's bipartisan consensus, and Democrats and Republicans have already done this work earlier last year, actually in December, with the stimulus bill. So that was a first step, and we are going to build on that work with our American Rescue Plan.
All right. So that was Simone Sanders. Now, I thought it was interesting when she talked about the coronavirus doesn't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. And we've heard politicians say that before. But it's one of those situations. I think we were so polarized in the last 4 years. When we got to this pandemic this last year, I think politicians automatically, it didn't matter what you said as far as the plan for another stimulus package. It didn't matter what the plan was. It didn't matter what the details were. There was always going to be resistance. Always. And I think that's a real problem when we're in a pandemic, when we're in an emergency situation. In the past, we've seen emergency situations, and both Democrats and Republicans, they're on board to move forward. We saw 9/11. We saw how people came together. We did not see that during this pandemic last year. We didn't see it. We saw politicians saying, I won't say we didn't see it. We saw the CARES Act, the first one that went through. So we saw that stimulus check, the stimulus package, that went through, unanimous support for that. But after that, then we started to see the divide. And we started to see politicians, no matter what you said, it could have been something to help the American people, $2,000 stimulus check, the other side automatically opposed that. Even though it could help the American people. Oh, it costs too much. Well, you know what? We spend a lot of money on a lot of different things. And we're not stopping spending money on those. So why would we stop spending money on the American people? And so we'll have to see how they can manage this, how President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris can handle this whole situation. Are they going to be able to negotiate with these senators to move forward? And I'm mainly focused on the Senate because that's where we saw a lot of the hangups before. You do have opposition in the House, but generally you're going to get the majority vote and it's going to move to the Senate. The Senate, you need a little bit more if you want to make it filibuster proof, if you want to do it without having to go through the budget reconciliation. You want to be able to get those 60 votes. And in order to get those 60 votes, you are going to need to pull some Republicans across the aisle. And so we'll have to see how they handle this. Simone Sanders seems to be very, very optimistic about thinking that we can all come together and move forward. We just passed a stimulus package. Let's pass another one. I don't know. We'll have to see how this all plays out. There are some things that are going to be happening right now. The impeachment trial, the cabinet nominations, the confirmations for those. And then we're going to try to squeeze this stimulus package in at the same time. And so we'll have to see how the Republican senators respond to this. Are they willing to help out? Or are they going to be the same way that they were for the last 9 months? So we'll have to see. What do you guys think? I want to know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.